Not many people can say they've played any sport for 66 years, but 76-year-old Jack Newson can. Newson has been a volunteer at Hornby Rugby League for the past 50 years, and he's adamant he won't be giving that up anytime soon.
Well, I started off as playing as a schoolboy and then right through to senior football, but I also coached for many years. I first started coaching probably about almost 50 years ago now.
It's been part of the club for, well, before I was born. Lived in the same house in Hornby for 76 years. He's just part of the furniture. He honestly has touched everybody in this club, and he's just coached every coach we've had, and majority of our rep players have been through his hands one way or another. It's, I don't know how to explain it. He's like the pebble in the pond. The ripple effect from him, with the number of rep players you see, he's coached and coaches and bits and pieces.
But I was also Canterbury director of coaching for, you know. But what that mainly involved is trying to coach the young coaches and taking them for their certificates and getting them up to the different levels.
I mean, I think other than Frank Endicott, he's the only one in New Zealand who's got that level. Coaching with Wayne Bennett and John Loney and all those guys and knowing them firsthand, yeah, you don't find a lot of that.
He can also say he built the very club rooms they stand in today.
I mean, he's done everything from coaching to building the actual building, earthquake repairs and building tables and repairing hit shields. I mean, he is a fitter and turner by trade, but in saying that, he's very mechanically minded, so he can repair nearly anything.
We had an old shed over the back, but most of the work a lot of it was done by volunteers in the club, you know, a lot of the mixing of the concrete behind the things, humping the blocks around, you know, for the block rail. My particular job, I still remember, was being up on the rafters, pulling up all the wooden purlings and drilling the holes in them with bracing bit, you know, because there was no electric drills much. So I mainly do stuff to do with seam. I'm a boilermaker welder by trade, you know, and I've got all to get home. I still do a bit of work for the boys, but anything to do with steel I usually do. That's the main thing I do around here, you know. I made some of the original tables that are still down here many years ago with a boy that played here for years. He was only apprentice in Neville Woodham. He played after here.
Jack remembers building the club rooms with other dedicated volunteers, some of the best memories of his life. And others would say the best part about rugby league is the community. And true to his code, Jack says the best part of being a volunteer is meeting the people.
Probably meeting all the other volunteers and being part of something real good, and you know, and the rewards, you know, that when things work and you see them and it's all go whatever it is, you know, even the, you know, so many different types of volunteers, from the, you know, people that just do the little things which are very important, you know, to other people that do, you know, the way shaking hands, certainly, you know. So that'd be the reward, and the love of the club, you know.
It's hard to meet anyone in Hornby who hasn't been touched by rugby league. It runs through the veins of families in the small suburb of Christchurch. Hornby Rugby League President Brent Tomlinson would go as far to say Hornby is synonymous with rugby league.
There are only two sports to play. You played rugby league, we played hockey. And that's going from 1915 right through to the mid-70s. And everybody who played here, you had guys, the Shelford family, they chose to play league rather than play rugby. And if you know anything about the Shelfords and all those guys, the competition to make these sides. I mean, some of these, our premier sides had 6 Kiwis playing in a club side. That people, it creates a want to be part of something bigger and better than yourself.
I first started playing in 1952, so 66 years I've actually been playing on and off for the club and been a member all my life. Well, growing up in Hornby, which was a very staunch rugby league area, really for boys around, you know, our ages when we were young, if you didn't play league, you virtually didn't do anything, because the whole town revolved around rugby league. I had 5 children, and every one of them played for the club at some stage. I had 2 boys played junior Kiwis, one boy played New Zealand Maoris, and he'd done a season in France playing over there. I've played with 3 of the boys here in the Masters and that, when they got older, and that was good. And
when asked about his favourite rugby league memory, Jack Newson couldn't give only one. But when it comes to club rivalry, there's a memory he'll never forget.
I remember one time we hired a helicopter, and it landed, they used to have a pre-game entertainment, and it landed on the number 2 ground, the showground, which is right beside, and they had a young boy from here dressed up as a hornet, you know, with the wings on that, and another guy dressed up as a spray can, and he chased the hornet around, and he had a fire extinguisher in it, and it squirted and it fell over and, you know, flipped and died. And then we had some guys dressed up as pallbearers, and they come out with this coffin, and they were loading the hornet into the coffin to carry him off. And Horsville had these clowns, you know, part of the entertainment. They come racing over and started fighting the pallbearers just before the game on the field. Luckily enough, we had a very young cheerleaders girls there, and they come over to wee pom-poms and start hitting the clowns. Of course, the clowns, being wee girls, they wouldn't do anything. So then I think that diffused a lot of what actually could have happened there, you know, broke out before the game.
Jack carries himself in a way, and people see that and are attracted to it. He's very knowledgeable, but he can walk anywhere through Hornby and people will come up and say hello, and he's coached their father, their sons, their grandsons and bits and pieces, and the kudos for all the work that's unseen that you get out of that, and the feel good. He's just got a warmth. I mean, you've known him for half an hour. It's just, if that's what volunteers bring, and that's what hopefully you bring, you can't, our club can't do without it.
Head down to Hornby Rugby League Club and you'll see Jack Newson's passion being passed on to the next generation. A legacy that won't be forgotten anytime soon.